welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be on right now. It's been a couple of weeks of excitement, getting prepared, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but this has got to be close to the top.
Thank you, and Reader's Magnet, and thank you, John, for putting this forth and taking the chance on us authors in presenting this out to the world.
I've enjoyed this immensely, Joanne.
Ellie, so have I. Thank you for who you are, and thank you, Reader's Magnet. You all are beautiful, and you've worked so very hard, and we are blessed.
We are.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers. We thank Reader's Magnet and everybody that's involved. I love Reader's Magnet. They say, we share your stories with the world.
Hi everybody, how's everybody doing today? My name is Clarence CAUSBY. I am the author of the book Soul Exchange. So just to give you a little bit of history about myself, I was born December 26, 1979. I never really knew what my gift was, or kind of like what my special was. So I was always wondering, and then all of a sudden one day I was at work and I worked for an audiobook company, and one day when I was off, I just was just like, oh, walking around the house, and all of a sudden I got like this idea. I was like, whatever. I didn't pay too much attention to it at all, and I just kept like going about my day, about my week, and then I got the idea again for the book Soul Exchange, and still passed it off as just like a random thought or so. And then I got the same idea again for like the third time. And then all of a sudden, like, I told my mom about it. And I was like, Mom, what do you think about this? Like, what do you think this is all about? Like, I don't really understand. She's like, boy, like, that's God's telling you, like, you better write that book. And I was like, okay. And so that's pretty much like how I came up with the book Soul Exchange. But a little bit more about myself, though. I watch anime. I watch movies. I like to cook. I used to do martial arts. I haven't done it like in a while though, because I would like to get back. Love to work out. Also, as far as like Soul Exchange though goes, it's just been like a real journey and a real pleasure to actually write. I never knew like the joy of what writing brought out. Like it literally is a great way to channel like all your emotions and everything, from being like happy to sad to anger, all that kind of stuff. So I just love it. Like it's absolutely like great thing. And basically a little bit about the book is that it's kind of like, I think what everybody can kind of like relate to, because it's a book where about like this guy, he graduates high school, wants to go to college. He like his mom like works very hard like to raise him and his sisters and brothers. And so, he just wanted to do something like, nice for him. And so he wanted to like get a great job, wanted to, help them out, give them money to help support them any way he possibly could. And just like everybody else, like he wanted to get a girlfriend. So he got a girlfriend, and then, he's like, I really want to, marry my girlfriend. And so what had happened was he goes along throughout the day, and then next thing you know, like his friend is like, hey, like, I got an offer for you. Like, you say you want to help out your family, you want to help out, your girlfriend, you want to get married to her. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? He's like, well, would you do anything? He's like, of course, I would definitely do anything in the world. He's like, are you sure about that? He's like, absolutely sure. So he's just like, well, would you sell your soul? He's like, nah, how we all, we get a question when people are friends, so it's like, oh, just get out of here, whatever. And so he kept asking him, like, would you want to tell your story? And he's like, no, no. So then he, like how sometimes we usually do, we'll just say like, yeah or no or whatever, just to kind of like hurry up and like, shut the person up. So he was just like, yeah, fine, I'll send myself. After that, everything goes upside down. Like he's experienced so many craziness and everything about like his life that he's never experienced before. And it's just like a tale, where you go where he goes throughout and he's like experiencing, he doesn't know why things are happening. And then he remembers like everything that his mom told him because like his family grew up like very, very religious. And I think from one aspect that's kind of like how my life was too, because I grew up like in my mom and everything like had me going to church and everything. So it was I came from like a very religious family as well. And like it was just like great to share like like what I feel like what God had given me. I really don't consider this like my book because it's like I was telling like one of my friends yesterday. I'm like, yeah, like writing books and everything. Like I can write like other books, but to write religious books, I'm like, I don't know. Like that's kind of, I feel like that's more harder for me because that I feel like I have to be kind of like I have to feel like led to kind of like write like a Christian book. But oh, and just so everybody knows, yeah, I'll definitely probably do like other Christian books too. But I would definitely have a lot more other books too that won't necessarily be like a Christian book, or so it'll be more or less like action, suspense, fantasy stuff like that. And the thing is, like, I get a lot of my inspiration from movies, from everyday life, from my job. I get inspiration from like reading comics, from watching movies, playing games, stuff like that. So I get inspiration from like all over. And to me, as an author, like I don't know about how anybody else does it, but like I don't write anything down at all. Like I still have everything that I thought about like 10, 12 years ago, like all in my head. Like it's still there. So I'm definitely going to be writing a lot more books, a lot more books. So I'm hoping Soul Exchange, hopefully like later on, once it like really gets out there more to the world, I'm kind of would love for it to like to become like either a play or a movie. So I'm hoping like that'll be just like another one of my goals right there. My first goal was to actually get a book started and published, and that came about. So I'm very grateful and happy for that. So the next step I would definitely love is to get like Soul Exchange either as a movie or as a play. I would like to like most of my books to come out like as a play or more or less like a movie or so. And with me, I just want like all my books to kind of like be out there to kind of like help people out no matter what situations they're going through, whether they're going through hard times or whether they felt like the same way or so, that they can kind of take something, from my book to really be like, oh wow, like it's nice to know that someone else is going through the same thing that I've went through or experienced or something like that. So I just want my books to be out there so people can, kind of escape from like the real world sometimes, and just read and feel like like, oh, like I'm not alone in this world, like someone actually went through or is going through, or someone literally wrote down like what I've been experiencing like this whole entire time, and no one really understood like what I was going through except for me. So that's what I kind of hope to become like as a writer. And I'm hoping that later on down the road that I'll definitely be with the upper echelon of like authors and everything, like James Patterson, Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, like all of them, because some of them are like absolutely phenomenal writers, phenomenal. And I think that as this goes, like as my writing journey goes along, that I'll definitely get like a lot better with what I write and like how I write things. So I'm definitely hoping like everybody would definitely go out and pick up the book and check it out for those who haven't, because you can definitely get it on Barnes and Nobles, on Apple, so that's the Apple Store. You can definitely get it on Amazon.com. It's also for the Kindle version, the Nook version. So if you can, like, go pick it up, and I hope you guys like it. But like I said, if you don't, like, I'll have a lot more books, like tons more books. I already have some books that I know as of right now that's going to wind up becoming into a series. I'm going to have some that's going to probably be like one, and I'm even going to have like another. Like I said, it'll be like another Christian book that I'm going to write, and that'll have like some types of soul exchange, but it won't be directly related as far as like the characters meeting one another. You'll probably hear of like things mentioned from the from like Soul Exchange, like in the other book that I'm going to write. I'm hoping to get like another book, hopefully by next year sometime. So I would love to try to really finish what I'm working on now and try to get that out by next year for everybody. But like it's been an enjoyable ride for me. Like I think I love writing more than I do almost anything, honestly, because it's a way that because I feel like I can actually get my creativity out more and really show the world, like what's going on in this crazy head of mine. So, I really hope like everybody like really loves the book. And uh, oh, so this is from Fairgoer 688. So, Soul Exchange is about like a young man who graduates high school, and he just wants to help out his family, and he wants to do like a lot of things. Help out his family. He wants to get married. He wants to live like the dream of like helping his family out, getting married, stuff like that. And he winds up selling his soul, which he finds out was like a horrible decision. And so during like throughout the book, he experiences like the most craziest of things that he didn't think anybody would ever really experience in his life. And as for the cover, it came to me because I was like writing my well, his soul is being, he exchanged like his soul to in order to get like money and everything like that. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, well, the concept of the book is kind of like a huge conflict between like God and the devil. And so I thought about it, and I had my friend to make it for me, and would be like having like one hand from like the devil, one hand from God coming down. And as you can see right here, like the Adam sign would be like, that would be like represent the soul, where people would literally go in like try like has like be like a tug of war for the soul, like who's going to win the soul, will it be God or will it be the devil? And so I had asked my friend to do it, and I literally thought he was just going to like draw it out, but he actually did it on computer, and I am forever and will be forever grateful for him for that. Because his name is Arnaldo Rosado, and he basically like took this idea and like went above and beyond. Like I had no idea like it was going to be like this, and a lot of people had talked about the covers and everything. So thank you so much for the question, but I love it. But I told him too that I want him to be like my illustrator forever for all my book covers and everything, because like I had like one simple idea and he just like took it to a whole new level, and like I'm so grateful for it. And like in the book too as well, you'll see like the different aspects where he goes through like nothing by any means necessary was going to be easy for the main character, whose name is Xavier. And you'll see there's a little bit of kind of like a horror aspect too in the book too, because he'll start to like to see things, he'll start to witness things that probably some people wouldn't witness or even experience like a day in their life. I guess unless you're really in tune to like with the spirit world or so, like people probably wouldn't even see it, wouldn't even recognize it or anything like that. But he sees it, and things just keep going very bad for him, like in his personal life, in his business life, everything like that. Um, so Fairgoer 688. I've had that question asked before. Would I do a sequel to the book? As of right now, I think this is probably just going to be like a standalone book. As of right now, but you never know. Some could like change later, where I probably do make a sequel for it. There is one book that I'm going to make that's going to actually reference Soul Exchange, and so like it'll talk about like the character, like part of the character, like some of the characters from the book, but they won't really have any kind of like direct interface with them, so to speak. But you never know. Like I say no now that this is gonna be like a standalone book now, but you never know what could happen. I could easily get like another inspiration for this book, and if I do, I'll definitely write it like without question, because I actually enjoyed writing this book. This book was so much fun to write and was so freeing to me, to actually write this book. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this book, but I would definitely not be opposed to writing like a sequel to this book. Not at all. I would just have to. I had to be led to kind of like write a sequel to the book, but I'm down for it. If I could actually get inspiration or feel led to like actually writing a sequel to this book, like a direct sequel, absolutely, I would definitely would. But like as of right now, it won't be a sequel to it. But I'm not opposed to it though. So like they say, you can never say never. So that's kind of still up in the air. That's kind of questionable right now, but I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all. That was a really good question, by the way. So thank you for asking that question. Um, but yeah, like some books I'll definitely be writing will be sequels. Some will be standalone books. Some will actually be like a series. As of right now, this is kind of a rough estimate. I think I have about maybe 20, 22 books stored up in this big head of mine. So like you never know. There's like I'm getting like almost inspirations like maybe like every other month about what else I can write for the books that I'm planning on writing or that I'm currently writing right now. And then one book I'm currently writing right now is still like I'd say like within like the first chapter. Hasn't reached chapter 2 yet, but like if I really had the time and really could really just work on it and not have to really go to work and everything, I could definitely have another book published by next year sometime. And that's what about this book was, because this book it took a lot longer than what I would have liked as it should have been, because I started that book about 7, 8 years ago, and a lot of people were like, "Well, Clarence, it's God's timing. Don't worry about the timing." But I could have just finished it if I just had like kept to it, but like I just waited forever, and then I think it took me about 2 or 3 months to really like just start all over and just finish it. Oh, so I'm definitely. Oh, boy. So the cover, what really inspired me was just like the whole book. Cause I'm like, I want a cover, that'll kind of like match like the story. So since it was about like soul exchange, the cover book, I was like, well, what can I really put? Like, what makes sense? Cause I want like everything like about my books to make sense, like the cover, to like the story and everything. And so I'm just like, well, it's about like battle over a soul, and I'm like, okay, well, why not just have like a war between God and like the devil, like trying to like snatch this one soul. The devil pretty much like was like, well, no, that's my soul. Like he forfeited the right, and then you like, well, what's God going to do about it? Is God going to come in, intervene, take a soul, or will he just let the devil have it? So like this book that was what came to my mind. Like definitely was like a hand coming down, representing God, or another hand coming up representing the devil, and then like the whole Adam sign right here would represent the soul, and plus like in like the whole background, like the stars and everything, like the galaxy. That's kind of like was like my whole like thought process behind it. My actually my thought process behind the cover was a little bit more simpler and everything. So I was just like writing. I'm like, well, that could kind of be a good idea. And the thing was, it took me a while. It took like a long while before I came up with like the cover of the book, and then all of a sudden even the title too, because the title was, I'm like, oh, soul exchange, and then I'm like, well, what should I do about the cover? And that's when the whole process, I was looking, kind of like analyzing my own book about like the story and what the story was about and what it really meant and stuff like that. So that's how I came up with the cover for it, and so far I think it turned out pretty good. My friend, he did it and went like way above and beyond like my expectations for it, because like my expectation was just like a hand, like just the atom symbol and everything, and it just went like through the roof and everything when I told him about it. So like I was grateful, that it came out that way, and it came out perfectly. So I was very grateful that the whole cover came out, and a lot of people seem to like really like the book. And I was like kind of like surprised. I was like, oh, okay, well that's great. Like I'm glad like everybody loves the cover for it. So like I'm definitely hoping to make more, hopefully have more covers to be kind of like that and everything. So I'm gonna be talking to my friend about making more, especially when I probably try to get my book out for like next year. Oh, Oh, thank you so much, Fairgoer 688. Um, no, yeah, it's definitely like it's a Christian book, but when people ask me like, well, what is it, what kind of aspects do we have about it? I would like to say it has suspense in it. Suspense, like I said, a very little horror. It's like a horror aspect. If you watch like horror movies, you're like, oh, I see where the horror aspect comes in at. But yeah, like from it has a little bit of horror in it, has a little bit of suspense in it, drama, some action in it too. It has like quite a bit for like everybody. So I really love the way it turned out. And it was I was wondering like would I ever be able to really get this book out and get it published, and my dream finally came true. So I'm definitely going to be writing more books and everything, but I don't want my books to be kind of like a one aspect type thing. I wanted to have like a lot. I wanted my book to really bring out like feelings from everybody. Like I've had people really tell me that how they like hated like some how they hated the characters in the book, how they loved some of the characters in the book, and I was like so thrilled and so excited because me as an author, I want to bring across such emotions as hate for some of the characters, sadness, and a lot of empathy for like what a character may be going through or not. But I really like to really describe like what's going on like in the scene, like the way a person looks, the way the character feels, because I really want my characters to really resonate with people. I want somebody when they read a book, not really like, oh, I'm just reading a book. They can literally go line by line and be like, oh wow, I can literally see this happening. I can literally see like the characters, writing the book really moving and stuff like that. And that's how like I really react when I do my books. I react and I'm like, well, a character should be like this, and then like I really don't see nothing. Like I go in my head, and then it's kind of like a act like a stage set, where you gotta have like my one character is being like looking like one way, and they're going through the process of like how they're going in the story. I'm like, well, no, the character should be acting this way. The character should have like this kind of expression. The character should be feeling this at this certain point in this moment. Um, but you never know. Like I definitely could like write like a sci-fi novel too. I just have to really, I guess, pick up like some sci-fi novels and really read about it and see if there's really something I really want to, if I really get like an inspiration from it. I'm pretty sure there is. I get like an inspiration from like quite a bit of stuff. Oh, hi Lane, how you doing? Hi Anna, how's everything? Good morning. Thank you so much. Elaine too. So I never really did. I never really thought about being a writer. I never did. It wasn't until when I was working at my other job. I was working at an audiobook company, and I just got the idea for this book, and it was so weird because once my mom told me like, "You better write that book," like God's telling you that you better write the book. I was like, "Okay, okay, okay, no problem." Once I started writing the book, like I loved it. Like it was like love at first sight because it gave me like an outlet, to really pour everything, like to really like. I've always been like creative, like with my imagination, like my imagination. I had like when I was younger, like imaginary friends, stuff like that. So when I started writing, everything that I could possibly imagine or come up with, like I was literally pouring it all out into the book. So I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, this is really fun. Like I love writing a book. And ever since then, like I even started writing I actually started writing two books at the same time. I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy. Please don't judge me. But started writing two other books at the same, almost like at the same time. And I'm just like, this is so much fun. Like it's almost like therapeutic for me because like one book, like I will write, but then I can like write a little bit of it. But then when I get mad, like I just can go like so much deeper because some of the books that I will write will be like a darker book. It will be like a dark book. It won't be like all happy sunshine, unicorns, and all that other stuff. But like I love writing. I love it. If I really didn't have to work, like I would write all the time. I really would because I would probably would have. But I think the only problem with that would be I probably would have so many books that would need to get published and everything. But like I love it. Like, I love writing, and ever since then I'm like, I think this is what I'm called to be. I think this is definitely what I was called to do is to be like a writer because I just love it. And to me, like, I don't write any notes down. Like, everything that I write and everything that I write down all comes from my head. I have books that are about 3 or 4, even longer, even 6, 7, 8 years old that I still have in my head that I still haven't wrote down, but I still know all the storylines from front to middle to end, all by heart. Like, it's all in my head. But I love writing though. I don't know how anybody else does it, but like the easy, that's like I'll when I write a book, I'll always get like the beginning, the middle, and the end, except for like the one book I'm recently writing on, which is a fantasy book, and I just love writing so much that like it comes easy to me. But the only hard parts about writing to me, like, is trying to come up with names for like the book or writing names for the characters. Like, that's like the hardest part for me. Soul Exchange is basically about like a kid who graduated high school, going to college, wants to help out his family, wants to help out as a single mom, wants to help out his brothers and sisters, wants to get married to his girlfriend that he meets in college. And so, he just wants to like to live, like the great dream of like, helping out your parents, getting married, living the great life, having lots of money, just to enjoy life with, enjoy with your family, enjoy with your loved ones. And he does, but the thing is, like, he pays a price for all that. He inadvertently, sells his soul, because like the so-called friend that he meets, he's like, would you do anything, to get, like, I can got a really great job for you, would you do anything for it? And he's like, yeah, of course I would. I would do anything, whatever in the world I would have to do for a job. He's like, are you sure? He's like, of course, I would do anything in the world. She's like, well, would you sell your soul? Like, most times we think people are joking around like, whatever, please, like, whatever, like, I'm not about that. And he's like, no, seriously. He goes, would you sell your soul? He's like, man, like, will you stop? Like, just get out of here with that. And then he's like, fine, fine, fine. Yeah, I'll sell my soul. So he winds up selling his soul, and nothing, everything that was normal about his life is no longer normal. Nothing. He starts to see strange things. He starts to experience everything. Like, you'll see to where he gets into like a lot of trouble with people, a lot of trouble with the law. Like, everything that like his whole world that he previously knew before he went to college gets turned upside down. Like, nothing is normal for him anymore. Nothing. Like, and you'll see like parts of the book where he winds up in a hospital. You'll see where, he gets shot at. He's like, he sees like demons coming after him and stuff like that. Like, you'll see tons of stuff like coming like in the book. Like, and this was like such an exciting time in my life to like actually write this and get this out. So like, I hope, for those of you that are watching, like, I hope you all love it. Like, I hope you really do pick up the book and like read it. And I hope, somehow I hope that, that it inspires you, to keep pushing on. I hope too that, that maybe you can even relate to it somehow. But, and if you don't like it, I totally understand. It may not be for everybody, but I'll have, like I said, I have more books coming out soon, hopefully, hopefully sooner than later. But like, I'm just excited about like sharing like Soul Exchange and the rest of my books with all of you. Like, it's really a great time. Like, I feel so honored, so privileged, and so blessed to be able to like to write for like people all over the world. And hopefully, since a convey of like, oneness, where my books will bring out, happiness, sadness, anger about some of the stuff that's going on, and be inspirational to keep people, uplifted, and be like, one thing, no matter what you're going through, it's going to be all right. Or, because you went through this, you can overcome it. Don't worry about what people are saying or doing whatever. I just want my books to be like inspired and everything. All right, everybody, my time is coming to a close right now. But on Sunday, November 14th, I will be doing like a live session where will be getting even more questions asked to me and everything. It'll be on Reader's Magnet, and I will definitely be doing more questions about my book and everything. So if you have time on Sunday, it'll be from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern time. So if you can, please check it out. Please come by, see me. For all you guys that came through, please come see me again. And thank you all for the questions. I really loved them. I really enjoyed answering them. And for those of you that came by and asked questions, like, please come by again. Maybe you have more questions or anything like that you want to ask me. Like, I'll be more than happy to answer me. And it'll be on Sunday, this coming Sunday, November 14th, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern. And I hope to see you all there. And I hope you all have a really great day. I hope you enjoy your day, your week, your year. And I hope you go out and pick up Soul Exchange. So make sure you go pick up Soul Exchange from Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, other retail stores, Target, Walmart, stuff like that. And, I hope you enjoy yourself. Thank you all for everything. I really appreciate everything. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care, everybody.